The listing presentation, it constitutes the sales conversation. And you've designed it very specifically because you know that in order for someone to be persuaded to say yes at the end of the appointment, that there's a number of things mentally that have to occur for that individual.
What I started doing is I study several things. I study psychology. I study psychology of sales. I study sales techniques, closing techniques, scripts, dialogues, everything. But what I would say is at the beginning of every single slide you go on is always start the slide with a question.
I remember hearing you say this before too. One of the reasons why you want to ask questions is for you to engage their psychology, because they have sort of like this background conversation happening with themselves the whole time. Dr. Robert Cialdini from the book Influence, The Principles of Influence, and then more recently Persuasion, talks about creating context for thought, context for what you're going to do. And so here's a great example from his book Persuasion. If you were to ask somebody the following question, hey Gary, do you consider yourself an adventurous person?
Darn tootin' I do.
So what happens, it's creating context. So when you say, would you consider yourself an adventurous person? Everyone all of a sudden
puts me in one mindset.
It makes you look back in your memories of all the times you were adventurous. And so you say, yeah, I am. Yeah. And then when you say yes, you're actually more open to doing something more risky, like, I don't know, go take a look at a home that you weren't prepared to look for, whatever the case may be, right?
What's happening is sellers they're questioning everything that you're saying the entire time. In lieu of telling them things and having them question what you're saying, what you do is you engage them by asking a question, have them engage and say, oh, you know what, Chris, thank you so much for saying that. In fact, let's go ahead and discuss that now. All of a sudden they're like, oh, I asked the question of Gary. Now I'm giving Gary the right to tell me the answer, and I'm going to have to trust that answer because I'm the one who's asking that. So it's this conversation that they're having on, like, in their own brain, and the more I can control that conversation, the better it is, and the more likely it is that I can control their decision at the end.